أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ويقاد الذين كفروا لا يزلقونك بأبصارهم لما سمعوا ذكره ويقولون إنه لمجنون وما هو إلا ذكر للعالمين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh viewers. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm Nasser Rashid and you are watching my YouTube channel AR RAHMAN NETWORK. Subhanallah, AR RAHMAN is the most beautiful name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I given this channel AR RAHMAN NETWORk. So my name is Nasser Rashid. I have my another YouTube channel under the name of Nasser Hussain Rashid, which I started in 2018. I started in English, and then a few friends of mine asked me to stay, to speak in Urdu. Then I started in Urdu. And then the other local friends asked me to speak in the local language, the Mirpuri language. So people have liked that, the local people from my community and from other districts of Mirpur in the Azad Kashmir, the free Kashmir that we live in, which is controlled and administered by Pakistan. And so I'm from that area, from the Mirpuri district. So I have that channel is mostly now in local lingo, the Mirpuri language. But my friends who have been mostly English speaking, they've been asking me to speak in English. So what I thought was that this channel I'll launch, which is AR RAHMAN NETWORK. So this is originally I started. The AR RAHMAN NETWORK is the beautiful name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah says in the Quran, in Surah Rahman, which is the 55th chapter of the Holy Quran, AR RAHMAN allama al-Quran khalaqa al-insana allama al-bayan. So these are four important things that AR RAHMAN allama al-Quran, the knowledge of the Quran is the highest one. Any knowledge that you have is worthless if you have no knowledge of the Quran. And then the speech, Allah says that the speech, that is also important, your speech, your communication. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's why I've given this name AR RAHMAN NETWORK. You have many networks in the mobile industry that you have. You have like a Vodafone, EE, O2, or many others in the world. In Pakistan you have Telenor, Jazz, or in the Arab countries you have different ones. So each network has a SIM, and the SIM is you communicate, and you communicate with people around the world. Some phones have dual SIMs, which have two SIMs in them. And this is the reason that I've given my channel AR RAHMAN NETWORK, is that I'm from the AR RAHMAN NETWORK. I'm going to give you a free advice, a free SIM with no monthly payments, with no restrictions. You can use it anytime, anywhere in the world. And AR RAHMAN NETWORK. And AR RAHMAN NETWORK is the network of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which encompasses everything around this world, the universe, and everywhere. And this is a direct link with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the SIM is here, right here in the heart. The heart. This SIM is located in the heart, and you have two SIMs. One is from AR RAHMAN, and one is from Shaitan. So you need to understand this clearly, that I am from AR RAHMAN NETWORK. So I will be, I'm an agent of AR RAHMAN NETWORK, and I will be supplying you the benefits and the uses of AR RAHMAN NETWORK and what you can benefit. I'm sure you have other satanic, SIMs you can use, all other. I'm not, I will be speaking against that network, the satanic network. So this is why I've given this AR RAHMAN NETWORK. You have the SIM of AR RAHMAN, so you can activate it by reading the Quran, by reading the namaz, and you have direct link with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there is no intermediaries, there's nothing in between. For example, when you buy a phone, you activate it with your any network, so you don't really go to the CEOs and others and speak to them all the time. So you just have a booklet, a guidelines how to use the phone, and your phone is activated and you speak to anyone in the world. Similarly, when your SIM is activated, you have a guideline, the Holy Quran, and then you have a messenger, Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that you can learn and you can see how he lived his life. So you have a guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the network, and then you have an example of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam how to lead your life. So this is similar that you don't. So you don't need, missionaries. You don't need any intermediaries, or you don't need any people who just like the ministers or in kings or queens or in presidents. You have these people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, Subhanallah amma yushrikun. So whatever you think of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what you can imagine, then Allah is above all that. That's why people get confused that he's some sort of sitting up there and he's got ministers or people working for him. No, he is by himself, as he says in the Ayat al-Kursi. That means that he has got a power over all things, and he encompasses everything in this universe, every little thing. So this is from AR Rahman Network. So this is why I'm going to speak about AR Rahman and give you an examples with evidence and with understandings. I'm an ordinary person. I'm not like a Maulvi or some sort of a person tied to some sort of a religious school thought. Many religious sects. I don't believe in sects. Allah says in the Quran, in the 3rd chapter, Ali Imran, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. I used to read this when I was in Ahmedabad, when I was a young kid in 1977, 78, and I used to read that. And I remember that. So Allah says that you hold the rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and be not be divided. So my aim is also another channel that I have is in English, various sects and various groups we have. So I don't believe in sects and I don't believe in anything, but they do exist and we have to understand them to live in a cordial environment. Just like you have other teams here, we have Premier League, you have United, you have Liverpool, you have Man City, you have Chelsea. They live in an environment, they play, but when the team is represented by England or other countries, so England, so they choose a team which is the best players among the Premier League. Similarly, we have a Premier League of different sects, and then whoever will perform well and those who believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the last messenger, and do no shirk, and they will be in the team of the Muslims on the day of judgment, subhanallah. And I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that I'm among them and you are watching and you'll be among them, you see. So there's no difference, except all the sects are Muslims. There's a misunderstanding, the misconception, and other people from other sects and non-believers have infiltrated these sects and try to cause discord. And before that, and they were not knowledge. You see, there was no Google, there was no YouTube, there was no other evidence that they had, and that's why they debated. And this is how this is led. But that is part of the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to take the best out of the person and to see who is the true Muslim. So you should not be offended by any sects. They exist and you need to respect and understand them, except the Qadiani sect or the Ahmadi sect, which obviously are the non-Muslims. And the reason being is that Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani called himself as the Messiah or Messiah at that time, and then he was saying that he had direct link with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He had way. So this is why he claimed himself to first he was the Messiah, like the Jesus will come, and he said the Jesus will not come, I'm the Messiah, and then he said that I received revelations. So that is why this sect was promoted by these Britishers who were ruling India, and they took their missionaries to India to convert everyone to Christianity. Just imagine that. You look in the archive, and then the Prime Minister said that our job is to convert India into Christianity. So as you can see, the Christians were the rulers of the West, and they were sending missionaries all around the world. Wherever they ruled, they converted people to Christianity. You have a lot in Pakistan, you have a lot in India and other countries, because they were poor, they didn't understand. And this is the Qadiani movement or the Ahmadi movement. There's a lot in Pakistan who have infiltrated the higher offices, and it's very difficult to differentiate, just similar to the Jews have infiltrated the American administration or the armies, or here in England, because it's different. They're all white, so it's difficult. Same way, you can't tell. I have a number of experiences which I will be sharing with you in the future. So this is the only sect that is non-Muslim, but there are a lot here as well. So you don't know what it is. So the basic criteria of Furqan is that they have their own ways and they are hidden. So it's very difficult. So those are the ones, all those sects who don't believe that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the last messenger are doomed for hell, no matter how good they are and no matter how good the believers are. What the problem lies is that our people have limited knowledge, and they said, well, Mr. John or Mr. Simon, who is very good, he's doing the good things to people, is very truthful, he's on time, and whereas a Muslim like me is lazy, he doesn't do anything, or he is a crook or anything. God forbids, Muslims are not, but somehow it's human nature, and sometimes they deceived by Satan. So obviously, how come this is it? The problem is that if a Muslim is lazy like me, or anyone who is not doing the job he's supposed to do, but the end time, even if he has to go to hellfire, but make no mistake, hellfire is a burning fire. Just imagine if you put your finger on the flame, it'll burn. So just don't think about it. So don't even think of going to the hellfire. But ultimate, they'll be going to the heavens. You see, because they believed in Allah subhanahu wa taala, and due to the environmental factors, lack of knowledge, or deception of Satan, they went to the wrong side. So they eventually will end up in heavens. But those who are good in this world, very non-believers, they have no share in this world, in the hereafter. They have a share in this world. Yes, they've got very nice, they got all the luxuries of this world, they've got the richness. And remember this, my friends, a lot of people, this is a materialistic world. So the materialistic world, you find that when you see materials, the cars, the houses, the jobs, the money, the Islam, doesn't discourages such things in Islam. As you can see in the life of the Prophet ﷺ, he was, ordinary man. He could earn anything. He could have a lavish lifestyle. He could have the palaces like kings, but he never, because Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala discourages this, because your shade is in the hereafter, not in this world. In one of hadiths in Sahih Bukhari, Muslim, where the Prophet ﷺ was lying on the floor, and Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu walked in, and he was very upset, and he had tears in his eyes, and he asked the Prophet ﷺ, that he saw the Prophet was lying, he had some soreness on his arms because sleeping on the floor, and he had tears, and he said, "Oh, Ya Rasulullah, why can't you have nice things just like the Khosrow Kisras of Iran and other people, kings at that time?" And he said, "Look, Umar bin Khattab, his words were, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that we have no share in this world. Our share is in the hereafter." You see, that's how you need to understand. It doesn't mean that you leave houses and sleep in tents or be poor. No. The problem that we face is that we are also into this inclination into getting into riches and everything. Yes, you can protect the army. Your army should be strong. You should be poor, and army should be strong. Yes, like in Pakistan, people are poor, but the army is strong. Yes, they have misused the system, and they might not would want it, but the Muslim lands are basically the army. This is what all the companions of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ did. They made the army strong. They made the people, they believe. So the Pakistani army is very strong as a state, and there is, they have a state within a state, but the public is poor, and that is true. But the problem is that they have misused the system, and now they probably will try to understand the Muslim nation's army should be strong. And you look at the other countries, Pakistan is also an atomic power. So I am, all for it, because I also studied in the PMA military academy and other schools, cadet colleges and all that. I do feel that the army should be strong so that people don't attack your religion, other things. But look on the other side, in the Middle East, where the kings and these leaders are so rich, but they have a poor army, because if army is rich, they cannot fight. That's how the people side with the army when there's a war in Pakistan or other countries. This is very important. You need to understand that your religious beliefs are protected and the Prophet ﷺ is protected. But now we have gone to this materialistic world, and that is the reason. So you need to understand that our job is not to gain. Here everything is changed now, and that is why. And that is one idea to divert you from the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, in the back of the conscious we know that we are there and we're Muslims, will go there, but they're unaware of it because the system as such is difficult for you to understand, and everything is become materials in Muslim lands as well and non-Muslim lands, and that material is not there. You shouldn't have any love for the materials. Yes, you can use them, you can can enjoy your life, but that is for the ordinary people, those who preach, those who have knowledge. You can see from the scholars in the past or the imams, you'll find that they were poor. They had books. I've seen Zubair Sheikh, Hafiz Zubair Sheikh, who was a big scholar of hadith in Pakistan after Nasr al-Albani. And I used to see him that he had books like that. Similar, he was just an ordinary man. And look at the knowledge that he had. Hadith knowledge is a very special knowledge. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives those whom He wills. And all the hadith, these scholars are non-Arabs, subhanallah. You see, you need to understand that Nasruddin Albani is from Albania. And other, Imam Tirmizi from Afghanistan, from all these Khorasan areas where Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, all this is Khorasan. It used to be called Khorasan in the olden days. So these are non-Arabs, you see. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives knowledge to those people who have taqwa, have God-fearing. They're not looking at the material of a person. They're looking at the character. And this is very important. When you see people, don't look at their character, the materials. We look at the materials, how good their house would be, how good their car is. But that's nothing. Man is known by the heart he keeps, and that's why we don't have love. We don't care for each other because we care for our materials, our jobs, we love our jobs, we love our food, we love our going out, we love shopping, we love this, we love football, we love all the things that we want, we love traveling. But where is the love for the human being? How do you do that? So that love, you need to bring that out, and the compassion that you need. So that is all I'll be able to say, and all these things I'll be telling you in different short videos. I'll be talking about 15 minutes where the Prophet ﷺ will tell you about his way of life, his teachings. I've done a lot of research, in herbal medicines and natural medicines, in Islam, the Quran. I have a lot of knowledge. Inshallah, I have memorized most of the Quran. In some quarters, I was known as Hafiz. I've been into politics as well. Politics, Islam is a way of life. It's politics, and politics doesn't need to be violent, but it should be non-violent, and then you can produce what the Prophet ﷺ had a non-violent approach in Mecca. Remember that if you look at the life of the Prophet in Mecca for the 10 years, he'll be non-violent. The Meccans, persecuted them, and then they never said anything, and then went to Medina, same. But when they were strong, and they didn't even fight. You see, this is a non-violent struggle that you need to keep, and the political system of Islam, the economical system of Islam. And Islam is coming, my friends. These are end of times, and I will be also telling you, I'll begin with the signs of Day of Judgment, because there are a lot of people, friends of mine, who have said that I should speak, because there's a lot of literature, a lot of scholars and on YouTubes and bigger ones. I am no match to them, but I will speak. I'll be telling you in ordinary language so that you understand. Those like me who understand it, and then I won't give you hard words or difficult words that will difficult. My job is things to understand it, like the Prophet ﷺ, when he used to speak to the Sahaba, he speak to their level. You see, so that's why you need to understand things, and that's why there's confusion, because the mosques have not really played the real part. The imams are not playing the real part. They're after the money. The mosques has become social clubs and money-making machines. So this is not the way Islam is all about. So in this time and age, we are lucky that we have YouTubes and other social media. Yes, there are a lot of filth going on, but you have to choose. In this filth, the society is the way we are. For example, in this society, everyone is for themselves, but they're good people as well. Similarly, you have to choose the good videos that will benefit you and your family and for yourself in this world and the hereafter. So thank you very much for joining me. So AR RAHMAN Network, please subscribe to my channel. I have another channel which is Nasser Hussain Rashid. You can subscribe to both of them, and this is especially the English channel for my English viewers in England, around the world, or anywhere in America or anywhere. Inshallah, I'll be speaking about different topics, and I will the next video I'll load about the coronavirus symptoms, and I'll speaking to them to the day-to-day matters that that affect us all, and how we need to be protected in this environment. And remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So subscribe to AR RAHMAN Network, my network, and activate your SIM, inshallah, and then we have a direct link to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's free. And thank you for subscribing my channel. If you like my video, you can share it, like it, and put a comment to it as well. Thank you very much, and inshallah hope to see you again with another video. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.